How's it going, YouTube? Today I want to talk to you about how sacrificing people, places, and things will put you on the path to your success. So, to get into this, I'm gonna say your family, peers, and others might not understand your path. Some people might. Some people might get it. Some people might listen to you when you explain it to them, and they can understand what you're trying to do, where you're trying to go. And sometimes your friends and family won't. And it could put you in a position where it could cause a rift between you and these people. Because a lot of individuals can't lead themselves. They rather follow the crowd or follow the herd. And whether you're just approaching life as far as becoming an adult, or you've been experiencing adulthood for a while, and you feel unfulfilled, you don't feel a sense of purpose, but you've been looking for purpose. Or you had an epiphany, and you're just like you want more out of life. What do you do with that? Sometimes you might have to go into isolation. Some people might look at you as you think you're better than them, or you've changed, but that's not the case. You haven't changed. You don't think you're better than them. You just want more for your life. Or you want a meaningful life. You want to experience prosperity and happiness. Not to say that stress won't happen. But going through those stressful times of measure, will it be worth it? And when you come out of that situation, if you choose to problem solve, you'll know why. You might want to do a lot of things in life, man, woman. And you won't be able to accomplish that if you get distracted by the wrong things. Everyone's path is different, and you have to recognize what's best for you. And this is hard to do for a lot of people because they're blinded by people pleasing instead of being selfish at times to live out their dreams. And it's a point of time where you do have to be selfish. You really do. People won't understand it because they're used to you coming to their aid, or you following the crowd, or they feel like you're going to leave them behind, or they just might become envious of you for showing up in life where they're in areas where they're lacking. You got to make a decision. And you can't really care how people are going to feel about that, because at the end of the day, this is your life. But some people will understand why you did what you did to get ahead as far as isolation, discontinuing relationships, taking a different career path. All of it plays a part. The world is built today on a competitive nature in all areas. relationships, business, who's going to be the most popular, who's going to be the most fit, who's going to be the richest, who's going to have the best relationships. And a lot of times you got to sit back and ask yourself, is that really what I want? I see this person over here with something that looks good visually, but is that really for me? And guess what? I'm going to give you an example of wealth. You might be somebody that this person might be a billionaire. Do you really want to be a billionaire, though? Or do you just want to be financially stable? Financially, let me take that back. Not financially stable, but financially free, meaning you can do what you want to do when you want to do it. Because you don't know what it took for that billionaire to get at the status they've acquired. Meaning it could have been inherited. It could have been earned by hard work, dedication, and the right connections. So, are you willing to put in that work? If you are, so be it. Understand that you have your own path when it comes to being a billionaire, though. You might not be able to travel down the same path and acquire it the way that person did. So don't look at their life, look at yours. But you also have to ask yourself that question. Is that something you really want? Or would you be okay being a millionaire? What about a relationship? You might see this couple, they're happy, they're enjoying each other's company, and you see the woman and man cater to each other a certain way, and you might tell yourself that, oh man, I would love something like that. Is those gestures in front of you really something you want, or is it something you think you want? But at the end of the day, it might give you optimism as far as seeing people treat each other with love and kindness. Or is it giving you a sense of you want to be just like them? And you got to ask yourself, do you really want to sit back and be just like these people? Or is it just giving you hope? Because what you don't see is what goes on behind closed doors. Every day between those people isn't rainbows and sunshine, but they might find a common ground to work through it. So you might be looking at the happy aspect of that relationship, but at the end of the day, they got problems too. Nothing's 100%. So with the point I'm trying to make here, family, and even in that, right? Even in that, you might be wanting marriage, relationship, but you have to achieve certain goals before you can do that. It might be a big mistake it might be a big mistake getting into a relationship before you're ready. So you might have to sacrifice. People have done it. People have sacrificed relationships for their careers. What was more important at the time? That's the question. What was priority? Maybe their career was. Can't be mad at them for that. They needed to establish themselves before they can give themselves to someone else. People have walked away from careers. Didn't know their next move because they knew that it was a ceiling at their corporation. They couldn't go any higher. Did they struggle? Probably. Financially? Probably. But it was something they had to sacrifice to get to the next level. That career was standing in their way. Some people ended marriages. Why? The relationship wasn't built on substance, no foundation. One person wanted to succeed, the other person wanted to remain the same. So why did you have to leave? It wasn't that you didn't care about that person. They didn't want the same things in life. So at that point, it made your relationship become unbalanced. There was a disconnect somewhere. So family, you hear me talk about these things. You got to ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice to achieve success? And some people might say they want it all. And there is some truth to having balance. But it might not be at this current point in your life. It might come down the line. Then again, it might not be meant for some. And that's the harsh reality. So family, I just wanted to share that with you because this was a topic brought to my attention. And maybe some people are questioning what direction their lives are going in when it comes to making sacrificial decisions in order to get ahead. And a lot of individuals won't understand this. But it's not for them to understand. You only got one life to live. You gotta live it like it's golden. That's all I got for you, family.